Aho and hello, friends. Finally, been able to say hello, everybody. I have had a lot of challenges, but that's okay. Been a while, but finally, I'm back on camera. I wasn't on camera much before, but it's been a while, and thanks to some new medication, I have been seizure free for a little while. I'm not having too many convulsions, and I am excited to be back into things. Still have some challenges, but that's okay. Our creator has allowed me to do things again. And I still have to watch myself with some things, but that's okay. And here I am, and I am excited to share what I have learned, things that have helped me help control my nervous system, and just help me relax, and just help me enjoy and appreciate living. And what I have done just from day to day. And I'm excited to share that with you. So, welcome. And I invite you to walk along and play along and sing along and whatever you prefer. First thing I like to do is instead of just talking about my drums, which is part of my journey, I would like to share them with you. Um, First thing, I've talked about my drums throughout my Facebook. Facebook was for the last few years was my only way of communicating. I did not talk on the phone because I wasn't able to talk. A lot of people didn't realize that, but due to my seizures, I wasn't able to talk. I just wasn't able to do. So Facebook, social media was a big thing for me. But now I'm able to talk. So here we are. But started out drumming. When I was a youngster, I remember my grandmother on my father's side used to give me coffee cans, and she used to call me her little Indian. And little did I know, just recently I was able to track down through DNA, and I'm still tracking down exactly where that may be. Come to find out that I am a trace of Native American, and I'm very honored for that. But that's beside the point here. But I got a little closer to my, shall you say, native roots, and I respect all my family's culture. So, but anyways, I wanted to get closer to that, and that just reminded me of that. But at the time, I didn't have a an authentic Native American drum, and at the time, I wanted to do something and didn't have a coffee can, so I went on Timu, and Timu actually offers uh, these drums, and they actually even have a neat backing to them as well. Um, the Tree of Life back, and these are only $10, and they actually even come with a neat little artificial fur beater. Um, and I used this for a good few months, and I found some songs on YouTube, and come to find out they were actually a Ojibwa, and I still use those songs today when I'm not using my own music. They're very inspiring, and so yeah, you can use coffee cans, you can use your own hands or whatever. Once you get into the art of of drumming and come to find out what that is, it's amazing where music is. It's a beautiful thing. Um, Personally, I feel it saved my life. That's where Jammin for Life Studio came into play. I literally was crawling. I actually crawled into this room. This is one of our bedrooms. It was my music, just a music room, and I was this is where all my computers were at, and fax machine and things of that nature, and printers, and I was logging all of my stuff for my doctors, and uh, having seizures, and some of the medical professionals weren't quite understanding what was happening, and in between events, I had to log everything. So, and I was also playing to help. build my memory and build my physical rehabilitation to. I knew from my previous training that that will help. So I was crawling, literally crawling into this room for my life. And a lot of people didn't realize that at the time. They are now. So when it came down to playing music and doing all this, I was jamming for my life. So that's why I named it the way it is. So welcome. But anyways, back to the fun stuff. The next instrument that I made was this really nice uh, 12-inch elk hide. I don't want to come across like I'm trying to sell something. It's just people have asked me about it. It's a 12-inch elk hide hand drum. It's a 2 7/8 uh, frame. A lot of your drums that you buy online are 1 7/8 frame. This is a 2 7/8 frame, so you get a little deeper. You get a little deeper sound to it, and it also depends on the weather. A lot of people don't understand that uh, hand drums change, especially when you get natural, organic uh, hides. This is pretty deep right now, and it just rained. However, if it gets up to be like 90 degrees and the air conditioner's been running a lot, this will dry out a lot, and the tone will go up a lot. So these instruments are what I often refer to, many other people refer to them as living instruments, and you often beat on them in different places, especially the bigger drums and the deer hide drums, and you'll get different tones. And so I really love these Native American style instruments. And so I made one, then I had to make another, and or if I bought one, I bought another. And that was the first instrument, the first Native American drum that I made. And then this one in September I bought. Um, Actually, take that back. This was the first drum that I bought. Uh, this was through Tribal Spirits in Canada. I love Tribal Spirits in Canada. This was my first authentic Native American drum, and it was like I said, out of Tribal Spirits in Canada. They do wonderful work. Their uh, their frames are uh, naturally made, naturally framed. They're not laid. They're wrapped and folded. Um, they're they're hand tied. They do a little differently than I do, I believe, but they do wonderful work. Um, they do some tie dye work. They do paint work. They're Native Americanly owned. Um, I correspond with them on a semi regular basis whenever I do orders. Um, they oftentimes have sales about 2 or 3 times a year on like 20% off. That's when I oftentimes do my orders. I've ordered multiple drums and a few flutes from them, and like I said, they do wonderful work. Um, so I, and this is my deer drum. This is the first one I ordered. I think I ordered this last June, and this is the drum beater that I have. Um, a lot of these, a lot of people they call them drumsticks. The Native American style instruments, we call them beaters. And this one, if you beat on it, you get different sounds from different areas. You may not be able to tell, but like right there sounds a little different than right here. See? And then in the middle. But you may not be able to tell this, but it's a fire horse running right to left. And in Native American culture, that means something different. Um, and I had a dream of that, so I had the Native American artist there uh, paint that for me. She did a wonderful job. And then in November, I was able to get this wonderful moose hide drum from Tribal Spirits as well. So this is on moose hide. I had a Thunder Spirit painting put on this one. The Ojibwa and some other tribes uh, respect the hold the Thunder Spirit in reverence. I also hold Thunder Spirit in reverence as well. So I had that put on here, and it also has some wonderful backing to it. And as you can hear, this has some deeper sound to it. So each drum, and these are all different sizes as well. I believe this is a 15-inch. My first drum was a 16-inch. So when I order drums and I make drums, there's a specific purpose for it. Um, uh, Whether it's artistic or whether it's spiritual. In the Native American culture and many other cultures, um, each hide or each animal holds a specific purpose. So it's really neat, really interesting. So so those are the drums, primary drums that these are the drums that I hold. And I was originally going to just talk about that, and what I'm going to be doing in the future is see with the drums. Um, I started drumming, and a lot of times I would hold it. I would start playing songs, um, and look so many songs up on YouTube, and like I said, I was having seizures, and when you have seizures, you have to rest a lot, and I was having up to 10 to 15 seizures a day. They weren't all grand mal seizures. A lot of them were the absence or partial complex seizures. But either way, they would still make me tired, and I'll be in bed a lot, and so my legs were weak, and also come to find out that I had autonomic disorder as well, so my legs were weak a lot. But fortunately, due to my previous training, I knew staying in bed was not a good thing, and so getting up, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna start doing physical therapy. I was already trying to play the guitar, and I knew I had uh, some finger just dexterity going on, and I'm just the type of person that when I play, I can't stand still. um, I like to dance, and so if I'm rocking out with the guitar, I'm moving my hips. Um, but uh, but when you play that, when you drum, oftentimes you're drumming in a circle, and so I was able to move my legs, you know, and come to find out after doing it for so long, at first, you're looking for that sweet spot. As you listen to the song that you're listening to, you're already trying to pay attention to that song, and then you're listening to that sweet spot of that drum, and so you're trying to listen to it, and before you know it, it's taking over your body, and you're listening to it, and all of a sudden you're moving. It's just a magical, wonderful thing. Music. For one, it's a universal language, um, and you may not understand the language, um, but I tell you what, in my opinion, at least in my own experience, I started understanding what they were trying to say, um, and I started chanting along with some of it, and so we're going to get into some more deeper depth of uh, some Native American culture, some Native American uh, uh, drumming. I am very, very blessed to have a Native American elder and sister that is going to guide me a little bit, and so I am very blessed for that. So hopefully we're going to be able to get into some more depth of some of this with some of the drumming. I'm going to be probably going in two different directions. One will be in a spiritual sense, and one will be more in a exercise sense. So if somebody wants to just get away from the spiritual sense, but would really like to get into the exercise sense of things, um, we can do that. I would also like to maybe down the future, uh, God willing, maybe find somewhere locally, whether it's a local gym or somewhere where I can go out and maybe do a drumming circle, whether it's for exercise or spiritual, and I might be able to offer drums for other people. I'm not looking to get rich off of it. Um, Same with my music. For me, I never planned to make music. I never planned to have a home studio. I came in here. I came in here praying for a miracle, and the Creator gave me answers through my music. So my music is free. So I'm just giving back what the Creator gave to me. Um, I have to charge a little bit for the instruments because the material costs me something. But I I'm inviting people to for this walk, the spiritual walk of it's changed my life. Um, Jamming for studio is something special. Um, Sorry for the ums. It's something I've been doing for a long time. It's something special. It's unlike any other thing I've ever done in my life, and it's not just. I just can't explain. I can't explain it. So with that, I'm going to talk a little bit about my flutes, which something a lot of people are interested in. Um, I have gifted some flutes away to some really special people. There's a lot of special people in my heart. I wish I could afford to gift flutes away to a bunch of people, but I have gifted some flutes away, and some people are like, "I wish I knew how to play them." Well, I'm gonna give away some secrets. For one, this is the gift. This is the flute that's my two spirit. Oh, can't see it. This is my two spirit uh, one heart series flute that many people have seen on the internet. This is actually the original Cherokee uh, inline totem block. Um, the ones that I'm making now have the custom block or the newer block sound block with the built-in sound block. This is an EB. This is an EB scale. This is one of the first ones I made, and but I was only planning on making just a few of these. And when I was going up north for the powwow, and unfortunately that didn't work out, but that was a blessing in disguise, and I really believe that. And so I'm here talking to you folks, and we're planning the that trip for next year. And so, um, but there's a few of these out there, and I've already made 10 instruments, maybe 11 by now, I think. Um, so, but I've got a few people out there that have a few of these, and they're like, I don't know how to play these. And what I'm hoping to do is actually have a few classes of how to not only play these but how to play music. Because my goal is not to keep this to myself. My goal is to give this as it was given to me, and to experience this, if you have a hard day or if your nerves were like mine, believe it or not, this is endorsed by my neurologist. It was actually in my medical file. I actually took this to my neurologist appointment last time, and he actually put this in my neurologist in my file to keep playing it. So here you know, not that I can play the best. I'm not the best flute player, but this is why. Let me get a little sip of water here. For one, you just have to have a little bit of confidence. It doesn't when you're playing the flute, and you know, one of the things I discovered when I first started playing is that we're uptight and we want to pick it up like it's a trumpet. We want to just blow into it. We want to take charge of it, and especially if you're a guy, you want that testosterone to just forever. With me as a two-spirit person, it wasn't as challenging for me, but it was. So, but I learned that, and this flute isn't as hard as some of the other flutes. But with the Native American uh, flutes, one of the sayings is you breathe the song. So, with that in mind, keep that in mind when you're playing it, especially when you're playing like a D scale or an E scale E flute, because they're a deeper flute, so they're going to be harder to play. So you're going to want to be gentler with that, and you're going to want to hold the note, and you're going to want to don't be afraid to have a little bit of silence in between them, and don't be afraid to enjoy the note. That's the secret. And when you start to enjoy it, and and when you're having an anxiety moment, don't be afraid to pick it up, and you'll get. And that was just spontaneous playing there, and a lot of times that's what I do. Um, the flutes are keyed when um, when I gift them and when I sell them. They are keyed, so you can play them. But when I play, most of my songs, they are spiritually guided. So when I go out to a park or somewhere, it is spiritually that those notes are spiritually guided. So yeah, I can pick up some music and say, hey, do you want to play a song? Give me a few days or whatever, and I can play the song. But it's to me, it's so amazing when I come up to a place and okay, give me my drum and I'll play a few drum beats. That drum. Okay, well maybe I'll play it hard, or maybe I'll play it soft, or maybe I'll. Okay, do I need the D? Do I need my D or do I need my G? You know, and you know, then I'll come home and I'll mix it, not knowing what it's gonna sound like, but I know it's gonna be special. And you go on my YouTube channel and see some of this music that I've made, and they're not as good as some of them I think that will be maybe down in the future. But I would like to share this experience with other people because I think you can do it too. Again, because it's not something that I feel I own. I feel it's something that everybody deserves. This is something. This is a culture. This is an experience. You know, these instruments were part of our ancestors' lives. You they weren't meant to be kept secret. This music wasn't meant to be kept secret. This is you know enjoying nature wasn't meant to be kept secret. And I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just trying to share it. And so, if you're interested, please like my page. And please, I invite you to walk with me. I do have a one or two flutes to share. This is the one I make. I do make other totems. I do make other drums. That so feel free to ask me about them if you're interested. Like I said, I'm not interested in getting rich off of them. I make packages. Um, they come with a medicine pouch or a blessing pouch, and a personal note. So, but this was my first. I call this my spirit flute. This is where I guess, found my spirit with it. My grounding flute. If I can't find my notes, this is when I knew I need to calm down, um, and get grounded. It's in D. A few people have a D flute. This is a slow breathing mouthpiece. Um, this is when you really have to breathe slow. That got high pitched. That was because I was either breathing too fast or I didn't have my fingers placed. I don't play this one as much as I should because I've been too busy making foods, music, and doing things of that nature. So I've been neglecting it. It's so bad. But this was my first flute. I received a year ago. So this is my flute, and kind of like my call letters. Um, if you're familiar with the Native American culture, you often do the four directions, and I do my music. Um, So, but yeah, this is another D flute. This is made out of ash, and it was from Travel Spirit as well. So, and this is a new one that I have, and it's got this one fairly recently. It actually has a microphone on it right now. I'll show you. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of a hybrid. This one is, oh shoot, I can't think of the name of the wood. I know it's part maple. This is in scale G. Um, Another one of the instruments that my wonderful wife said, you have to get it. Kind of like my Gibson guitar. She said, well, you have to get it. It's on sale. So, but and this also has a what's called a bird a bird stock, I believe it's called, um, totem. Sorry, my voice is getting. I'm starting to have a harder time with my words, but please bear with me. So this is the latest flute that I had from Travel Spirit. You got this one on a sale too. So I'm terrible with sales, just like a lot of people. Couldn't stock up my studio without it. So, but so this one has a microphone on this, and I got the microphone from Blue Bear Flutes. Um, Wonderful brother down there. He's wonderful, Charlie. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a demonstration with that one. Turn on the amplifier. You'll hear Charlie from Blue Bear Flutes. Their wonderful tone on that. I really dig I really dig that. That sound. Hopefully I'm not too close. This is what I call my song flute, because this is probably what I'll most likely perform with. That was my song flute. You hear that little chirp at the end? That was the bird special bird knock of the. It's actually a special setting or a special make of the totem. Kind of sounds like a defect, but it's actually uh, part of it. Um, what was interesting, I was able to. Normally, you can only get it in the root note. I was actually able to get it in the note before that. So I'm getting a little better. This one, I wasn't actually going to show this. This one, I wasn't going to show this, but this is actually the third flute that I've actually made. Um, it's an EB. Um, it's available, but it's a Raven. Um, one of my caregivers actually helped me make it. I haven't decided exactly what I'm gonna do with it yet, but I might make a song with it. I don't know. So, but I don't have an owner for it yet. But this is an EB. So see what it sounds like. That's my breath. Yep, that's the Raven. I catch my breath. We're not doing any shows and then playing four flutes. Ah, okay. Oh. But anyways, kind of going off of an outline here. This is actually my second take. My first take, I didn't have the microphone hooked up, so go figure. Over the past 3 years, drums have become much more than instruments. They have become companions in my journey. They've been they have they've been they've been with me through uncertainty, through healing, through prayer, and through learning. Many of you know I've faced significant health challenges over the years. Music has always been part of my life, but learning to drum and learning to dance again have helped me in ways I've never expected. Spiritually, drumming has helped me become still before our Creator. Emotionally, the drum has become a healthy way to express feelings that words sometimes cannot, as you saw a moment ago. Physically, drumming and dancing have become part of my physical rehabilitation, as I explained. They have helped me work on balance, coordination, strength, endurance, and movement as I continue adapting to life's challenges. Every every beat reminds me that I'm still here. Every rhythm reminds me to keep moving forward. Every prayer reminds me there is hope. Before we continue, I'd like to share something very important. I do not claim to represent any Native American tribe, nation, or ceremony. Over the years, I've been blessed to learn from respective Native American elders and medicine people who have been willing to share parts of their knowledge with me. My own family ancestry and history have also been part of that journey, along the side of my personal walk with the Creator. Everything I share throughout this series comes from my own experience, my own learning, and my own spiritual journey. I don't speak on behalf of Native peoples or their traditions. Every nation has its own history, teachings, ceremonies, and ways of life, and I deeply respect those differences. The drums and flutes I build are Native American inspired instruments, created with gratitude, humility, and respect. And like I mentioned earlier, yes, I do have some people that help me, and I hold them with the deepest respect and reverence. With this prayer circle, because life can be loud, sometimes we need a quiet place, a place to slow down, a place to breathe, a place to pray. Throughout this series, we'll spend time exploring our personal journey with drumming, even the role of drums and music in the Bible, the history of hand drums, Native American inspired craftsmanship, and what I've learned through my own journey, reflection, original music, moments of silence, and most importantly, walking with the Creator. My hope is this, that it won't simply become another YouTube channel. I hope it becomes a place of peace, a place where people can step away from the noise of everyday life, slow their hearts, quiet their minds, and spend time with the Creator. You don't have to have a drum. You don't have to have to be a musician. You don't have to know anything about drumming. If you simply desire a quiet place to reflect, to pray, to listen, you're welcome here. If you do have a drum, I invite you to gently drum along during our times of prayer and reflection. Not as a performance, not as entertainment, but as a personal expression between you and the Creator. If you don't have a drum, that's perfectly okay. The most important heartbeat you ever hear is the one the Creator placed within you. Let's pray together. Let's reflect together. Let's walk with the Creator together. Creator, thank you for everything, for every heartbeat. Thank you for music that speaks when words cannot. Thank you for guiding us through both you and hardship. Bless each person joining us today. Bring peace where there is worry, comfort where there is sorrow, strength where there is weakness, hope where there is discouragement. Help us become people who listen well, love deeply, walk humbly, and honor you in all that we do. May every heartbeat remind us that life is a precious gift. Walk as our footsteps as we continue walking with you. In the name of Yeshua, I pray. Amen. Until next time, thank you for joining me. And like I said, if you like what you see, please like and subscribe to Jam for Life Studios. Aho, my friends. Want to say goodbye? Come here. Say goodbye, Casper.